So this is coming to me because I've been sick now. I have chronic illness. I have MS. I have other chronic pain. It comes and goes. There are times I almost forget. And then here it is. And it's been almost 2 weeks. And I'm deep in the school having to do with pleasure, having to do with getting into our own bodies to unlock the trauma, the story, the shame, all the things that keep us from really being embodied. When we're embodied, we're in our power. We can do all the things. So how do we get embodied? How do we be in our body? How do we be in our pleasure when we just don't feel like it? So this is specifically for all you chronic sufferers of pain and illness. But before you decide, oh, I'm not in that category, are you? Are you not? Because I would say chronic fatigue is in there, whether or not it's diagnosed or not. If you find yourself always saying that you're too tired for sex, either with yourself or with somebody else, or you are too achy, too preoccupied, have more important things, then I would say you're in this same category. You're using pleasure as an afterthought. You're using it like when my body feels better, I'll get to it. But does the body ever feel better if we don't get to it? Which comes first? Is it a cycle? So I found my own resistance to this. And I just want to speak on a real level. Of somebody who has chronic pain, has chronic illness, it can feel like, at least for the school, it has felt like a drag for me. And I'm like, really? Like, I'm in survival mode right now. I don't want to touch my body. I don't want to moan. Maybe I don't want to have an orgasm. And who's to tell me that I have to, and I have to have it in some way? Well, no one is telling me. And I'm not telling your ass either. What I am saying is there are ways to be in your body no matter what state it's in. And on a neuroscience level, on a neuroplasticity level, when we're talking about, this is like, neuroplasticity is like, it's in the field now. We're talking about it. How do we reshape and rewire these pathways? Because neuroplasticity works in the opposite. It's not just like the let's rewire, let's do the good. The more that we stay ingrained in the things that we've always done, the deeper those grooves and trenches, the deeper those relationships become of neurons that fire together, wire together. So those relationships have to be undone. And sometimes in the beginning, there's that resistance. There's that, you don't tell me when to be in my pleasure, fine. Sometimes there's like for me, it's been like, well, I don't want my pleasure to look a certain way. I don't want to have to do it like this. Okay. How do I want it to look? Because that's in my power. That's in my body. So, concrete practices. If you just don't feel it, if you're like, F this, like I don't want to be in my pleasure. Or let me not reduce it to just that. It's not that I don't want to be in my pleasure, but for me, there's a real sadness of feeling that I'm outside of it. That's not accessible to me. That's not for me. Someday, when my body doesn't feel pain in this way, then I'll be able to experience what other people can experience seemingly easily. Having been on both those sides now in my life, I can see that it's never really easy. We always have to cultivate it. Yes, with physical pain and body illness, there's extra challenges. And I love acknowledging that for myself and those I'm speaking to and working with. We have extra challenges. Other people have different challenges maybe that we can't relate to. This is a particular one. There is something to be done about it. You can be in pain and illness, tired all day long, and still have moments in your pleasure body. So, it's around intention. How can I be with myself? And for those with illness and pain, maybe you should set a shorter time limit. So what I've been practicing is 30 minutes a day, but since I've been sick, sometimes it's 10 minutes, sometimes it's 15 minutes, sometimes I feel like 20. It depends on the practice. So here's some practices that have worked for me. So there's something where you can do, you can just gently think about your genitals. Just think about them. Start to breathe into that space. Start to feel each fold just in your mind, breathing into it, noticing if there's like, what's there? Is there a softening there? Is there a curiosity? And then after you've done that for a couple of minutes, just gently resting your hand. So this can be done clothed. It is not, the intention is not to arouse, it's not to go towards climax. It's just this, that's it. It's just to tell your body, your sexuality, here I am, I'm listening. I'm not cut off from you. There's a sweetness to it. So maybe you set a timer for 5 minutes. It's lovely to set an intention ahead of time. Maybe the intention is, I'm going to be present with my body the way it is for these 5 minutes. That's it. Nothing fancy. And then you're just present. Yeah. Another really beautiful practice that I've used while not feeling so well in my body is metta is one of my go-tos for meditation, loving kindness. You can look it up. You can Google it. There's many ways to do it. The phrases that I've settled on, may I be safe, may I be happy, may I be healthy, may I be free. And so something that I really love, my body really loves, is a really gentle touch. And there's something super soothing and calming about it to give it to myself. So I say those phrases, may I be safe, while I'm stroking. And it's really lovely to do it towards the heart. You're just bringing that energy from your body. It may be arousing. For me, it is, because my skin is super sensitive on my arms and my legs. Like, it's lovely. So there's some kind of arousal there. Again, you're just allowing that energy to move through you. It doesn't have to go anywhere. I don't have to do anything. Maybe there's sadness that comes up because I'm realizing my body doesn't feel well enough to have it go anywhere. My body doesn't want a partner doing this to me, but just allowing those feelings to flow. Okay, here I am, showing myself some loving kindness, some eroticism in a way that works for me and my body right now. So using metta to just stroke the body in that way, bringing it into the heart. Another really lovely practice. One for me, because I'm a dancer, I love to dance. I mean, it's the thing that has sent my healing skyrocketing. But the reality is when my body doesn't feel good, to dance actually causes harm. I don't actually have the physical energy to do it. And then it just makes me more tired. So then it sets me back a couple more days from recovery. And so it's finding that balance. But I have discovered in the last couple of days, I mean, I dance wherever. So it's lovely to have a playlist, and you can call it your erotic playlist, whatever, that gets like those juices moving, where it's like, you feel it. You feel it in your body. You're like, maybe you put on, I have a whole playlist of like, powerful music where I just feel like, yeah, like, got this. Like, to me, that's sexy, like to be in my own power. And then the sexiness makes me feel more in my own power. So what I dance laying down on this bed here. I can do a lot of moves laying down. You can too. While maybe stroking myself, while, like it's an exploration, but there's music on, I'm feeling it, I'm dancing, I'm expressing, I'm creating, but I'm doing it in a way that my body can right now. I dance sitting down. I dance in the bathtub where there's no there's the water creates like a little more bouncing flexibility for my body. It's contained. There's things to hold on to if my balance is off. It's like finding something and maybe dancing isn't the thing for you, but maybe you have the thing for you that you're just like, God, when I feel sick and down, I just can't do this thing. Is that true? Or is there like a little finessing, a little finagling of how you can make that possible in like a really self-loving, gentle way? And then if you're feeling like, you know what, like I do kind of feel sexy, I do kind of want to, like, maybe I do want to climax my body, just like, again, like can't do all the things that I think it's supposed to be able to do. First of all, what's that? But there is, like, just like with stroking with the metta, you can experiment with like really soft, lovely, just loving touches, your face, your neck, your breasts, no matter what body you're in, all over, to just experiment. How do I like to be touched? Is there a grounding? Do I want to, is there spiraling? And that can spiral into the genitals. Doesn't have to stay there, doesn't have to go anywhere. It can if it wants, but just kind of like the spiraling from the outside of the genitals inwards, and then back out again, and then your whole body again. You're gonna feel the energy like moving. And this may not just move the energy that's, in your genitals that hasn't gotten a lot of movement. If you've been feeling cut off from your sexuality, it'll get all the energy moving in your body, moving that lymph, feeling reinvigorated, even though you can't get up and like maybe do a serious yoga set or like full out dance. You can still move things in your body. So those are 4 ways that you can have pleasure today. And it can happen on any time frame. Better to set a shorter time frame than a longer one and then feel disappointed or sad about the condition that you're in. What if you set 5 minutes and I can celebrate, have a triumph at the end of that? Like, yes, I just did 5 minutes of pleasure for myself. Pleasure is an act of resistance. It's an act of personal revolution to say, like, I take this for me. This is a body that has pleasure in it. This is the body that has pain and sickness and sadness and grief over that. But it also has boundless pleasure capacity that we have no idea until we start to delve into that. And then all the wiring starts to shift. We expand our capacity. When we expand our capacity to have pleasure, we lessen the impact that this is what I'm finding, that these down dips have, There's a remembrance in my body now that it has pleasure, that I can access that it will come again. There's trust there. There's a remembrance. The pathways are still there. And I feed them. I feed them while I can when I don't feel so good in these ways. So 4 simple ways that you can reclaim your pleasure today, no matter what body you're in. Enjoy. I'm curious to hear how it goes. You can leave that underneath. You can direct message me anytime. Okay. Be well, babies.